I'm not going to have you go from 0 to 100, because what happens when people try and start a brand new life and they try and do everything new at once, when something goes wrong or something isn't perfect, they quit. They quit on themselves and they think, this wasn't the answer. This was wrong. It's not the case. It's this, the approach was wrong. Welcome back to Confidently Uncomfortable. In case you missed it, we are starting a series that is going to be all about healing from the inside out. So we're taking a holistic approach to healing when it comes to our mindset, our bodies, as well as just our soul. And I did this last summer, so I will be sharing a lot of the different throwback episodes. And today I'm going to be talking about week 2. With this, I really want to share the experience of where I was before versus where I am now, because it's such a different experience. And so I tell you guys, when I'm talking about going through your routine and auditing your life and knowing that it's okay for things to look different, because there are going to be different chapters in your life, and that's not only expected, it's a good thing. And so this is the same approach that I've been doing with my clients when it comes to their lifestyle audits, when it comes to their health, when it comes to their goal setting. And it's something that I want to help you with today. So I'm going to kind of show you the comparison between my experience previously with this program versus now. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I'm doing personally when it comes to my own, routines and adjustments I've had to make since being pregnant. I'm recording this today and I'm officially 22 and a half weeks pregnant. And it's exciting. I'm really, really excited about it, but it's just so interesting to compare where I was a year ago and where I am now. And the thing about when I say compare, you're approaching your life as more of I am a researcher, I'm learning about this, I'm exploring new things, instead of comparing and thinking am I doing worse or better than last year or whatever it is. It's really easy to compare when we're going into goals, especially if you're someone who is maybe getting back into their fitness or just trying to get back into a routine. You're comparing to maybe where you were 5-10 years ago, and you're like, why did it work why was it so easy last time? Why was my healing journey faster? Why was my weight loss journey faster? And we're not the same people we were 5-10 years ago, and we don't want to go back to that person anyways. So my goal for this approach with your healing journey is to see it as just that, a journey. Instead of thinking that you have to have these very specific goals with this series, I'm not having you necessarily make really specific goals, more so just how do you want to feel throughout this experience? So what is it that you're looking for? For me last year, I was looking to heal a lot of grief, a lot of pain, and reconnect with my body. This year, shifting into pregnancy, I've worked through the grief. I've done a lot of the healing. I've worked with so many different clients and I've done so much, but I'm wanting to approach motherhood with a mindset of expansion and growth. Instead of thinking that, I'm losing a part of myself because I'm becoming a mother, I can no longer be X, Y, and Z. I'm seeing, how is this going to expand me? How is this going to broaden my ability to hold space to love other people? The ability to have compassion and empathy for others. I already feel so much more empathetic towards all of my mom clients out there listening right now. You've had kids, you've gone through this, and me being able to go through this experience, I can now relate to this on a whole new level. And so I'm seeing this as an opportunity for expansion, and I'm really, really excited about it. And so let's talk about what the challenge is. If you already don't know what it is, make sure that you sign up. You can start whenever. So even if you're listening to this after the fact, basically it's an 8-week series. You get a free Hot Girl Healing Guide as soon as you sign up, and you'll get the weekly emails every week for 8 weeks as soon as you sign up. So you're not behind, you're just on your own journey. I would still love for you to share wherever you're at whenever you sign up. I'd love for you to share your experience. Today, I'm going to be sharing my own experiences so far in this journey with pregnancy, as well as just with this Hot Girl Healing journey. So the series started off with week 1, all about meditation. And so if you haven't listened already, I released 2 different meditation episodes. One of them was about releasing fear and anxiety, and I've actually used it a couple times. I even used it as a walking meditation the other day. The other thing that I launched was my pregnancy affirmations. And so I've talked about affirmations before, how to create your own affirmations in a way that resonates with you. So affirmations that resonated with me in this new chapter of pregnancy, I went through and thought about, how do I want to feel as I continue to grow? What are maybe some obstacles that have been coming up for me mentally, physically, emotionally, and how can I use affirmations to support that? And I got a list together. I think it's of about 30 different affirmations, and I've been using those while I've been doing some of my self-care activities, like putting on my lotion and belly oil and all that stuff. And reading the affirmations has been really powerful for me. If you have never done affirmations before, I 10 out of 10 recommend it. It can be a little hard at first, so trying to find ones that really resonate with you. I have an episode that I share in the healing guide that is all about bridging your affirmations. So if you haven't listened to that episode about how to create affirmations that really resonate with you and help you, really work, essentially. If you want them to work, you got to listen to that episode. It definitely makes a big difference. So 10 out of 10 recommend that. And I've been doing it daily. So that was all week 1. But now I want to kind of talk about body work. Week 2 is all about body work. This week is all about when it comes to your body and feeling a level of autonomy, doing things maybe in a more holistic approach when it comes to taking care of yourself, when it comes to stress relief, when it comes to pain relief, when it comes to shifting our mindsets. You can use body work for all of those things, recovery, keeping your immune system up, all of those things. Like body work can be a big factor for this, and it can really help you reduce injury, reduce pain, reduce anxiety, all of the above. And, I'm not anti taking medication. Y'all know that. Like, I don't want there to be stigma around getting help, getting support, getting medication if and when you need it. But I'm not taking as much medication, especially while pregnant. And so I've been wanting to lean more into the bodywork side of things when it comes to holistic healing, when it comes to recovery, when it comes to even headaches and nausea and all of those things. Some of y'all know I dealt with a lot of nausea in the first trimester, and it was like nothing was working. I was struggling so hard trying different things. And one thing that actually did work well for me was acupressure. And so acupuncture is something that I'm actually going to be trying. So I'm going to be doing acupuncture in the perinatal space. So when you're pregnant, acupuncture can be really powerful. People trying to get pregnant, there can be benefits behind acupuncture. People with migraines, look up acupuncture and the benefits behind it on your own. I've done it in the past when I was dealing with a lot of back pain and other kind of pain, but acupressure is like a safer at-home version of acupuncture because you're not actually puncturing the skin. You're just going based off of pressure points. So coming back to my nausea, I was feeling super nauseous all the time, and I'd been given medication and I was trying not to take it. I don't want to take it every day. I didn't really want to take it at all. So finding a way around that was really helpful. I did try a couple different things that did help me when it came to like ginger and peppermint tea and lozenges and saltines and ginger ale. But acupressure was something that I did as well. And so one thing that helped me with nausea, and you can look this up online, is you take your wrist and you put 3 fingers on top of your wrist, and that bottom of that 3-finger mark is the pressure point, and you'll take your thumb on that spot and you press in while you're breathing, and that helps release that nausea. And the truth is, it never fully took away my nausea because it was so bad, but it relieved it and made it so much less weighing me down. It like really, really took away. Basically, think of it like my nausea was at like a 10. It brought it down to about a 5 where I was able to function, which was really nice. If you are pregnant right now or dealing with nausea in general, or if you're going on a cruise, I don't know, they have those like C bands, SEA, C bands that you can put on, and you put them on that point that I'm talking about, and it helps release that nausea. So you can do that with nausea. There's different acupressure points for your sinuses, which I shared in the Hot Girl Healing Guide. I shared my lymphatic drainage massage that really helps with my sinuses. It helps with everything. I have jaw pain. I have TMJ. So being able to do that every day in the shower when I'm doing my skincare routine, it is a game changer. I've been doing that for years, I think 2 or 3 years now, and it has made such a difference in my face, in my jaw, in my sinuses and ability to breathe, and it's been awesome. EFT tapping is another one that comes from Chinese medicine. And I'm actually going to have a guest on to talk a little bit more about all of these things. But I want to tell you, what is EFT tapping? So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And so the tapping is what people would just call it tapping. It's a technique that's taking the acupressure points, like what I was talking about, plus the psychology of our emotions and stress and anxiety that we hang on to, and using the acupressure to release the emotional and physical anxiety. Let's say we're doing those affirmations and we're trying to release some emotion. The tapping can kind of help break that up. So the goal of EFT is to release the emotional blockage and make you just feel calmer. And so I found that with this, it can be helpful if you are feeling a little overwhelmed, anxious, maybe you're starting to get into those spiraling thoughts again. It'll kind of bring me back, which is random. I don't know if it's just because it's like you're so alarmed by the fact that you're tapping your face, your brain's kind of like, what are you doing? And it takes you out of the regular pattern of spiraling negative thoughts. So that's just, that could be a confounding variable, but there is a lot of research on this as well, to tapping helping you release your stress and anxiety. It can help you promote relaxation. And again, it can help you just start to shift out of the stress response that you normally have and into feeling a sense of calm or even just relief. It talks about improving self-esteem when it comes to tapping. I really see this in tandem with your affirmations. So while you're shifting and breaking up the self-critical thoughts, you're then going to go into an affirmations of those positive, more beneficial thoughts for you. And then tapping in tandem with that is going to help it resonate within the body more. Because if we're holding that trauma and those feelings and all of those emotions within our body, finding a way to actually physically tap into our body is going to make it hit even deeper. Okay. So hopefully that's making a little bit of sense. Try it before you bash it. Look up EFT tapping on YouTube. I can share some more videos as well, so make sure you're following me on social media. Another form of body work physically with the body is self-myofascial release. I'm sure you've probably seen people doing foam rolling, where you are rolling on a cylinder piece. It's literally like a roller. It could be super hard, like a PVC pipe, or it could be a little bit more foamy and have a little more give to it. But you're literally rolling out the muscles and you're allowing the muscle to release that tension. I've also used the Theragun. It looks like a giant drill type gun, and it has different things on the end. Typically you'll see like a ball on the end, and you're using that to kind of beat into your muscles. It doesn't have to be too hard or crazy as it sounds, I promise, but that's another way to help release those muscles too. If you're someone who struggles to get up and down off the floor, or the rolling and holding yourself up feels like a little bit too much right now, you can take a rolling pin like your grandma has to roll out dough, and you can literally roll out your muscles that way. And that's a really good one. They sell ones that are actual rollers online, but if you got a rolling pin at home, try that first. And it can be a little less pressure on your wrists and your shoulders if you don't want to hold yourself up. I'm noticing since being pregnant, I'm already feeling more sore in my low back and my hips, and things are just moving around everywhere. So the more that I stretch and take care of my body, and the more I'm doing that on a consistent basis, the better I feel and the less pain I'm in, and the better I sleep, and the more likely I am to work out every day, and the more likely I am to go on those walks and get movement in. I've been doing yoga, not as much as I would like, honestly. I would love to do it more. It's been such a busy time right now. But I'm not telling myself that I have to, do an hour a day. Would I love to go to classes multiple times a week? Yes. But instead, what I'm doing with stretching is I'm not putting so much pressure on myself to do a full class. Instead, I'm saying okay, I'm going to do 10 to 15 minutes in the morning and 10 to 15 minutes at night. And that really has helped me with just how I'm feeling throughout the day and how I'm sleeping at night. So definitely recommend that, whether you're pregnant or not, highly recommend it. And then I also have done sound healing. I did a sound healing class. Last year I did it a couple times, and essentially they're taking sound bowls and frequency, and they're playing this music throughout the entire class. And so you stretch a little bit, but then you're meditating throughout it. And it's such a cool experience, and you feel it throughout your entire body. It helps me get into a deeper relaxation space. So if you're someone who struggles with meditation, try maybe a sound healing class and see if you get into a deeper space with that meditation. This time around, I did it while pregnant. So I did a sound healing class while I was pregnant, and it was even more exciting and magical than I expected. I feel like until I had done the sound healing class, I wasn't doing what people were talking about, bonding with your baby. And I just didn't even feel like there was a baby in there. I was just like there's no one in here. It doesn't feel real. It wasn't really resonating. But then, I was already in my like second trimester. So I was starting to feel a little bit of like butterflies or kicks or whatever you want to call it. I think it's more butterfly feeling. So that started to make everything feel more real. But then I go to this sound healing class. And so I'm getting into this like really meditative state. And I'm able to connect with my body. But guess what? My body is not just mine right now. It's also my baby's. It's how my baby is growing. And so not only did I feel connected to my body during the sound healing class, but I felt really connected to my baby. And the baby's at the point where they can hear sounds and they're able to like connect with that. And so for me, I'm to be able to be meditating with my hands on my belly and like feel certain movements happening when certain frequencies came from the bowls. It was just like so cool to me. So if you are pregnant right now, please go find a sound healing class. It's absolutely amazing. And then also last year, I talked about with bodywork, getting a Reiki session. So that was a really cool experience. If you want to go listen to the episode I did with Emily at Crystal Horizons, she talks through what Reiki is and gives a really good background and feedback. And I actually share my experience. So I would love for you to listen to the episode if you haven't already. If you've ever done Reiki or any of these things, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Also, my chiropractor, who I started working with last year, I did a whole reel and everything about working with a chiropractor, and it was really cool. Highly recommend you do your research with chiropractors. You want to make sure they're good. But this specific chiropractor actually specializes in pregnant moms and can help them through that. So that's also super important to me too. So we'll see. I'll be looking into that as well. I have gotten so many moms recommending prenatal massage. I'm a big fan of massage when it comes to body work, when it comes to self-massage. I would love to get a massage every single day. I can't pay for that right now, but my husband has been awesome and honestly giving me like a massage almost every night. And it's been so helpful for the pain that I'm already going through. But I'll let you know how the prenatal massage goes. I just had so many women recommend it to me, so I got to do it. I got to find a place in Charlotte. So if you guys have a list or someone that you would recommend, definitely reach out to me. Super interested in scheduling something soon. But let's shift and talk about how my routines have changed since going into this new chapter where I don't really know what life's going to look like in 6 months, which is wild to think about. I do something with my clients called an audit. If you are ever wanting to work with me one-on-one, but maybe you don't want to work with me long-term, or you just want to start with getting started, getting connected, and figuring out how to start with your routine first, I do something called a confident breakthrough session where we do a full audit, a full nutrition and lifestyle audit, where we break down everything that you're doing throughout the day, everything you're eating, and I help you make shifts in a way that is aligned with what your goals are, with what your lifestyle is, with what your most confident self would be doing. And not only do we just put it together, but we also think through the how. Like, how are we actually going to make this happen? Like, how are we truly incorporating this into our life? And also at what pace? I'm not going to have you go from 0 to 100, because what happens when people try and start a brand new life and they try and do everything new at once, when something goes wrong or something isn't perfect, they quit. They quit on themselves and they think, this wasn't the answer. This was wrong. It's not the case. It's this, the approach was wrong. The way that you went about getting started was not the best thing for you, because we're human. We need to slowly adapt and integrate this into our lives and slowly release some of the other habits and mindsets that are holding us back. But it takes time. It took you time to get to where you are now when it comes to the shitty habits that you want to get rid of, the mindset that doesn't really serve you, the actions that you want to take but you're not taking. That took a long time to get to this space. So it's going to take time to chip away. And so my goal as your coach is to help you do that. So the confident breakthrough session leaves you feeling like you actually have a game plan and you know where to go from the day one after us working together and beyond. And then that just allows you to be able to kind of still do it on your own, but you get the one-on-one experience of working with me. So that's an option to work with me if you ever want to. And then my Body Confident Blueprint program, you can do my one-on-one coaching version of that where you're getting full-on like high-touch coaching. I have some life coaching clients right now that I'm working with. I have a few more spots as I'm recording this. So just apply and I'll let you know if I have room or not. And then also I have my course, the Body Confident Blueprint course, or Busy BCB. And I call it Busy BCB because it's really good if you are someone who has a lot going on right now when it comes to your job, when it comes to your life, and you just kind of need the blueprint on where to get started, and you can go at your own pace. So that's something that I highly recommend, getting that course. And after you've worked through that course, or as you've started to work through that course, then you could get a confident breakthrough session with me, or you could do one-on-one coaching with me. So highly recommend all of that. Now, what have I done? I literally have been going personally through my course again for myself in this new chapter. So that's how I know this shit works, because I believe in it so much that I'm literally going through it again. And I've been doing audits. I usually tell my clients to do them quarterly or seasonally, however you want to look at it. I have been doing it with each trimester because I literally don't know what to expect. Like my first trimester, I was just surviving. And so I had to audit that time. And I basically took a lot of stuff off of my plate. So I audited how I was feeling in that space. And I had to make the decision. It was a tough decision to cancel a launch. So I ended up not doing a group coaching launch. I had to not bring on any new clients. I only kept the clients that I was currently working with. I lowered the amount of classes I was working. I had to make a lot of shifts. And then I also had to figure out, what can I delegate, which I am hyper independent. I come from that background of self-worth and productivity. And so I had to figure out, how can I learn to delegate these things so that my future self, a few weeks from now, will be so happy and feel good. And that's what I did in the first trimester. So second trimester, which I'm almost done with, I did another audit, and I thought through, like, how do I want this chapter to look like for me? And I also did a lot of meditation and journaling through this. And what kept coming up for me from God was rest, like be in this moment. Like, don't worry about the future. People might even ask you about all the questions about the future, but you just need to be here now. That's what my tattoo says, but you just need to be here now. And so I had to think, how are ways that I can be here now and be more present with myself and my body, especially as it's changing more and more every day. And then from that meditation session came the idea of doing my Hot Girl Healing series again, because that was when I felt most connected to my body. That was when I was really prioritizing my physical and mental health. And so it felt really good to come back to that. And I also audited, like, okay, what is my routine going to be for this next period? And so what I've done with my current routine is my mornings are a lot slower. I was going to a lot of 5:50 a.m. workouts, 6:40, 7:30, like at my gym that I work at. And I loved it because it was so good to get the workouts in, but I realized I can't count on having the energy for that every morning. And sometimes my body doesn't need to go from, sleeping to jumping right into these things. So I've slowed down my mornings for the most part when possible. I'm doing, when I wake up in the morning, some sort of meditation. So I have a list on my phone and my YouTube videos of different meditations, or I just have a soundtrack on my Spotify that like goes through different songs. And so when I first wake up, instead of jumping out of bed, I actually hit snooze, but it's like, I think it's 10 minutes. And so I'll do 10 minutes of meditation until that's up. And then as soon as that's up, I'll get up and I make my tea over here and I'll sip on my tea and I'll either journal or just sit. I might sit for a little bit or help Tom with something. And then I'm walking Kima, my dog, and get back, and I'm so sweaty because it's so hot. I make the decision to start stretching. Now, if you're someone like me that struggles to get started, to get movement in, using different cues can help you. So some days I will do something like, if I'm just doing yoga, I'll just put my mat out before I leave. So I'll put my yoga mat out before I leave the house to walk her. So as soon as I come back, I've already queued up like, hey, I've set the intention of doing this as soon as I get back. If I'm, instead of wanting to do yoga, wanting to do something like Pilates or a strength training class or something at home, but I'm not really feeling super motivated, I will tell myself like, okay, cue it up on your laptop. Once you've queued it up on laptop, this is key, cue it up first. Then you can turn on a show like on Netflix, Gilmore Girls, whatever, Schitt's Creek, and you can have the show playing while you're doing your workout. That really helps me too when I'm not feeling super motivated or I'm not feeling great in my skin and I just kind of want to like move my body, but not think about it too much. And that can be really helpful for me. So I do that sometimes. 10 out of 10 recommend, but make sure you queue up the workout before you turn on the TV. So that's been really good. As soon as I'm done with that, I will shower. And I've talked to you guys about this before. When I shower, I like to make it a self-care routine. And so I have it stacked. So I'll take a regular old shower and I'll stack it with my affirmations, the 7 chakra affirmations I go through. And it's basically going through my entire body, saying different affirmations. And it kind of just makes me feel like I'm putting on my armor of confidence for the day and feeling good. And it really, really helps. And so doing that while pregnant has been a new experience for me because it's like every day I have to choose to be confident in my body because every day my body is changing. So it's like, yeah, maybe I was confident in my body yesterday, but then today it looks or feels different or something is new or, it's just, you don't know. And so I'm choosing to be unconditionally loving towards myself every single day. Even if I feel crappy, even if I'm struggling, like I am going to embrace my body where it's at. And I'm having to meet it where it's at every single day. And my routine has really helped with that. After I finish showering, I will do my lotion and body oil, especially on my belly, and affirmations. And so that's something where I will use my pregnancy affirmations that I've done while I'm doing that. And it feels really good because it's like, I don't know, it kind of helps me set an intention for my day because it's really weird when I'm going throughout my day. I like stop and I'm like, whoa, I have a whole baby growing inside me right now. So like having the intention and affirmations behind pregnancy I love it. So finally I will journal and set intentions for the day. I'm very intentional about not going overboard when it comes to my to-do list. I'm not trying to think too far ahead. I'm just thinking about today, what am I going to focus on? And usually it's going to be something that is some personal to-dos that I need to do, some business to-dos, some client to-dos, and we go from there. And that's been really helpful. So I can talk more about that, but I help my clients do this a lot when it comes to prioritizing your routines and prioritizing your goals. So morning routine has been a great game changer for me. My evening routine has been not too different, but basically in the evenings, I like to do a post-dinner walk. There are so many studies that show the benefits of even walking for 5 minutes after you eat your meal can help you with digestion. It can help you with so many different things. But for me, as a pregnant woman, it helps with my acid reflux. So it helps me not have as much acid reflux. And it just makes me feel better and feel ready to go to bed. As soon as I finish that, I start my evening routine. Tom will be cleaning while I'm getting stuff together for the next day, and I'll either shower or take an Epsom salt bath. I'll usually have a snack, after dinner snack before bed. In my first trimester, it was like I was bringing snacks to bed because I had to eat literally throughout the night. Felt so nauseous, I would have to eat crackers like 24/7. In my second trimester, it hasn't been as bad, but I do like to have something on my stomach before I go to bed. Drink some tea, brush my teeth, all that stuff. And then again, I'm doing the belly oil at night. And that one's fun because like I'm doing it in bed and like hanging out with Tom and he gets to like talk to the baby and just we get to talk about stuff. And it's just really nice. The other thing I do is I queue up a meditation, and I'm also got a new meditation that's a hypnobirthing track. And so in case you don't know, hypnotherapy, I talked about it last year in the Hot Girl Healing series. We'll be talking about it again this year. But there's something called hypnobirthing where you're taking hypnotherapy and using it to help you with labor. I'm doing that, and it's going to be great. By doing the hypnobirthing track, by going through the meditation, by going through the actual visualization of everything, it's just helping cue your body and helping it become more consistent of a routine. So more on that soon. I'll definitely share more about it. I'm just taking a explorative, like research type approach in a fun way. I just want to discover what feels good for me in this chapter. And I'm going to try and do it in a way that is not judgmental towards myself, that isn't compared to other people's journey, and allows room for error or allows room for shifting on a dime or being flexible because things are going to change day to day. And I know my parents are like, yeah, it's like that all the time. So why not learn to do that now before I have a kiddo? And that's basically what I'm doing. So I would love for you to join me on just this next journey. And you can start now. So you can start with meditation and learn all about body work. And then we're going to shift into some other pretty amazing things. We'll have some really cool guests on. So next week, we're going to be talking about self-expression and tapping back into those things that bring you joy, finding some pocket of joy every single day, doing things just for the love of doing them, not for feeling like you have to accomplish something. It could be art, paint, music, dance. I definitely did Chakti yoga last year, that like really fun twerk type yoga. I feel like that's a really like watered down version of everything that it is, but it's really cool. And then I'm bringing on an amazing guest. She's a postpartum relationship and intimacy coach, and she goes full in to what is life, what is intimacy like with yourself as well as with your partner postpartum after you've had a baby. And whether you have a baby or not, listen, I know myself. Even if I was not pregnant right now, I would be obsessed with this episode. Like, I'm so pumped about it. I cannot wait for you to listen to it. So wherever you're at in life right now, whether you've had kids, haven't had kids, don't want kids, you need to listen to this episode because she talks a lot about intimacy with yourself and connect with yourself. And I think it's really healthy, whether you're in a relationship or not. I think it's just, it's so good. So look out for that episode coming here soon. Then we're going into biohacking, which is all about self-improvement through independence and autonomy of your own body, lowering pain and discomfort. And I'm going to be talking about biohacking pregnancy. And we're going to have one of my doulas on, Helen. I'm really excited to have her on. So it's going to be a really good episode for there. We're going to go into holistic healing practices as well, embodiment practices, hypnosis. That's when I'll be talking more about hypnotherapy and hypnobirthing. And then we'll end it with energy work. So, man, there's a lot in store for you. And there are episodes to catch up on. There's other resources that I share in the free guide. So go ahead and get the guide. If you start with the guide and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to lean even more into my healing journey. I want to feel my best in my body. I want to feel confident. I want to get support, whether it's life coaching, health coaching, or a combination. Reach out to me, shoot me a DM, or fill out my application, and we can hop on a quick discovery call to talk about what is the right fit for you. I cannot wait for this series to just continue on. So thank you for being a part of it. Be sure to share anything that you're experiencing. I've loved the feedback I've gotten so far of you that are going through it. If you are just starting with it, you're not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're starting at the perfect time for you. So I can't wait for you to be there.